Some people end a certain kind of suffering in a way that sounds almost offensive to the self-help world. Not by managing pain, not by numbing, not by stacking more routines. It ends because they finally see what's actually happening underneath their life. You have never experienced raw reality, not once. Everything you call reality is filtered through your psyche before you're even aware of it. Your unconscious sits between you and the world like a projector. You think life is happening to you, but you're watching a film your inner world is constantly creating. And the most dangerous part is this: you forget you're the one projecting it. That's why two people can live through the same event and walk away with completely different worlds. One sees betrayal, one sees liberation, same scene, different film, because they're not seeing the event itself. They're seeing their own inner material projected outward and reflected back. A neutral comment becomes disrespect. A delay becomes rejection. A challenge becomes attack. The story writes itself before you even notice you're writing it. This is where patterns come from. The unconscious cannot stay silent. If you refuse to see something in yourself, it doesn't disappear. It expresses itself through projection. It leaks into your choices, your interpretations, your body language, your tone. It shapes who you trust, what you fear, what you chase, what you avoid, and the kind of reality you keep finding. The shadow is the first projection. Not evil, just the parts of you you decided you're not allowed to have. Anger, authority, selfishness, ambition, the hunger for control, the desire to be seen, the need to dominate, or even the opposite, the desire to rest, to slow down, to be soft, to stop performing. Whatever you disowned gets pinned onto other people. That person who irritates you for no clear reason often carries a trait you refuse to admit is in you. And the intensity is the clue. When the reaction is bigger than the moment, it usually isn't about the moment. The second projection is the illusion of completion. The obsession you feel for certain people isn't always love. Often it's your unlived potential being projected onto them. You're not seeing who they are. You're seeing who you could be. That's why it feels intoxicating. You're looking at a mirror that seems to promise a missing part of you. And when the projection collapses, disappointment follows, because no human can carry a role that was never theirs. The third projection is complexes. Psychological knots formed by unprocessed experiences, usually early. They behave like autonomous programs. They trigger you, steer your behavior, and recreate familiar outcomes. The abandonment complex finds abandonment. The rejection complex manufactures rejection. The unworthiness complex constructs situations that prove unworthiness. Not through magic, through perception, posture, behavior, and the invisible signals you constantly broadcast. People underestimate how much their inner world trains their eyes to notice only certain evidence and ignore everything else. This is why most people waste their lives fighting the screen. They blame the world, blame partners, blame bosses, blame bad luck, and keep repeating the same endings with different actors. The script stays the same because the projector stays unseen. And this is the line that ends the delusion if you let it. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. If you've been living inside a loop and you can finally see it, comment, "I'm Hunter." What changes everything is not willpower, not positive thinking, not more effort. It's awareness. A complex only possesses you while it's unconscious. The moment you can notice it, there it is again. The need to prove, the fear of rejection, the control drive. The grip begins to loosen. A projection only works when you believe it's objective reality. The moment you see you're projecting, the spell weakens. It doesn't mean you become perfect overnight. It means you stop being hypnotized. This is the deeper shift. You stop being the one who suffers and become the one who observes. You are not your thoughts. If you can notice a thought, you are not the thought. You are not your emotions. If you can witness fear rising, you are not fear. You are the space in which fear moves. This isn't dissociation, it's sovereignty. Problems don't vanish, but you stop being owned by them. You stop making every feeling into an identity. You stop turning temporary weather into permanent truth. Now watch how perfectly this maps to trading. Most traders don't fail because they lack a strategy. They fail because they're fused with the screen. Every candle becomes personal. Every drawdown becomes identity. Every missed entry becomes humiliation. So they react. They overtrade. They chase. They revenge trade. They strategy hop. Not because they're optimizing edge, but because they're seeking relief. They are trying to regulate their nervous system with clicks. The market doesn't punish you first. It exposes you first. It exposes impatience, the need to be right, the addiction to stimulation, the fear of waiting, the urge to prove worth through a win. It exposes the part of you that cannot tolerate uncertainty without doing something. And if you've seen that pattern in yourself on the charts, comment, "I'm Hunter." And this is where the hunter is not a brand, not a costume, not a quote. The hunter is a type of human being, a human who moves with restraint while others chase, a human who can be bored without collapsing, a human who can lose without spiraling, a human who can win without getting reckless, a human who watches the impulse to react and does not obey it immediately. The hunter doesn't need the market to entertain him. He needs the market to confirm conditions. In trading, this is what the hunter looks like. He doesn't chase movement. He waits for alignment. He respects timing. He respects his rules more than his mood. He doesn't confuse activity with progress. He knows the market is designed to tempt the impatient, to reward the reactive with short-lived highs, and to punish the undisciplined with slow death by 1,000 clicks. This is why a method like CLS, when you treat it properly, becomes an identity filter. It forces waiting, it forces selectivity, it makes boredom sacred, it makes repetition powerful. It rewards the human who can tolerate silence and still keep his edge sharp. Not everyone can do that. Not because they're stupid, because they're still addicted to reacting, still negotiating with emotion, still needing the next trade to fix how they feel. Once you truly see this, some paths close quietly behind you. You can't fully go back to fighting the screen. You start watching the projector. You start catching the program as it tries to run. You start trading and living from observation instead of reaction. You don't need to win every day. You need to stay clean enough to execute when your model appears and calm enough to do nothing when it doesn't. If this resonated, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to mark the shift, comment, "I'm Hunter."